Welcome everybody to another episode of Crypto Charge, where we're here to supercharge your crypto gains and put you guys in a great position to try to retire early. I know the crypto space many times can feel very overbearing and there's just news coming in from every single direction. You don't know whether to follow Twitter, follow Instagram, follow that YouTuber that is going to never show you his big crypto portfolio. What we aim to do here is to basically disseminate all of that information and basically put it together in very easy, consumable content with daily actionable items to help you guys win at the actual life-changing game of earning money and making money in crypto. In this episode, we got a jam-packed one here. We're going to be going over a number of different things, everything ranging from, are we fully now confirmed in a bull market run? What we're basically seeing on the charts in terms of how high we see Bitcoin going before we're going to see a pullback. All to the huge announcement between TikTok and Immutable X and how you can actually put yourself in a position to really make some massive gains from that. I'm going to walk you through how to share and actually attach and connect your MetaMask wallet to the hottest NFT marketplaces. And what I'm doing is one of the bets that I believe is going to be a 20 to 30x gainer this year. I'm going to also be going over for you some of the new SEC and US government most recent information. Are they attacking crypto or are they giving it a pat on its back? And so much more. So you guys are going to want to watch this episode for front and back. And also to make sure you guys are following us on Instagram and TikTok as we've been growing so quickly. In a matter of just 2 weeks, we've already gone from already up to 1,000 followers in just 2 weeks, which is faster than any of my platforms I have ever done on any other social media account. Make sure to DM us, drop us messages, give us the feedback of what you like and what you guys want to hear. This is a community that we're building everything on. And also make sure to follow us on YouTube as we're going to be taking and putting up all types of YouTube shorts and everything else. So make sure after you watch this episode to follow us on TikTok and subscribe to us on YouTube. So without further ado, let me jump right in. Today was the day that I woke up this morning, and I'm not going to lie, I was freaking happy. Why? Because I woke up and I saw that my crypto portfolio was back over $5 million, a number that I have not personally seen since May. And when I saw that, I jumped up, and even though I'm battling a little cold right now, I scurried my little butt at 4:45 in the morning to jump in and check the charts, and I realized something unbelievable had occurred. We at Bitcoin were so many people just 2 to 3 weeks ago as FUD came out once again from China and everybody was concerned that we were going to drop back down to that $36,000 mark. We skyrocketed past, breaking a huge 702 Fibonacci level. And as we saw Bitcoin cross over and break $54,000. Now, why this is so important is this was higher than the previous high we had saw. So this is the highest point we have seen now since all the way back in May, which is a huge, huge confirmation of Bitcoin resuming what I personally already knew we were still in, that bull market. Not only is it going to continue to drive additional adoption as individuals from all over the web now are starting to see a renewed interest. Google trend searches are skyrocketing back up to levels we haven't seen since April. We have a massive supply shortage in Ethereum as more and more Ethereum is being staked and pulled off exchanges to the launch of Ethereum 2.0 early next year. And what's something that's very important to understand is when Ethereum is staked for Ethereum 2.0, it is locked up for 6 months. So these individuals will not have access to bring that Ethereum and sell it on exchange until after the launch of Ethereum 2.0, which is continuing to bring down the supply. Famous macro investor Raoul Paul believes that there's less than 11% of the total Ethereum supply even available to be purchased right now. So as we're seeing Bitcoin in this massive run up to 55,000 at the time of this recording, please always remember, crypto is what is known as a rotational market. Think of it this way, and let's just picture you have a cup, and that cup is sat down and it's an empty cup, and you have a giant pitcher of water. What happens is that pitcher of water is money, and that money is flowing out of the pitcher from institutional markets, retail investors. That water is pouring into that cup. And as that cup begins to fill up and hit the brim, what ends up happening is individuals who have now seen large gains by investing in Bitcoin want to rotate out of that asset to put their gains that they've earned in Bitcoin into additional assets that they believe will give them a higher yield. Not that they believe Bitcoin's going to crash, but you know what? They got into Bitcoin at maybe 36,000 or 28,000. And now it's gone ahead and it's run up to 57,000. What they want to do is kind of pull some of that money back and rotate in to top 10 altcoins. And that's what we'll typically see in a rotational crypto market. They'll sell out of those profits, and not all of it, but just pull some off the table and rotate in to projects like Ethereum, Cardano, Solana, AVAX, Atom, DOT, just to name a few. So as we saw Bitcoin today skyrocketing up near 10%, we saw Ethereum somewhat be lackluster. We saw favorite projects of mine like AVAX, for example, down as much as 6% today. But one thing that's very important is as you start to yield these big returns in Bitcoin, not that I believe, and I believe truly that Bitcoin during this cycle will cross $75,000 in this bull run. But what wouldn't be probably a bad suggestion, if I may make one, is to use some of those profits that you're getting into Bitcoin, pull some of those off the table, and rotate them into some of your favorite altcoins. Some of mine personally are AVAX and Polkadot right now. Once Polkadot launches, they're parachain slot auctions, which basically, in a very simple way, as I've explained it before, and you can look at it as you go to the launch of our platform later this month, which is cryptocharge.com. When you go in, you're going to see basically what Polkadot is doing is trying to become the Switzerland of blockchains, being an inoperable blockchain that so you can trade assets and swap assets back and forth while still maintaining the security and the integrity of the blockchain. So Polkadot, which is currently sitting at only about $32, I personally believe has going to see a top in this bull run cycle of probably somewhere between $125 and $150. Now that's about 4x from where we're at currently. So in Bitcoin, where I believe we really probably don't even have more than maybe at the peak points would double from where it's at, you can utilize some of those profits and rotate in to coins like AVAX, which is sitting at $60 from a recent high of $80 just last month. So using some of those profits to rotate in, because at the end of the day, we're here to make money and supercharge your crypto gains. We're not here to teach you guys to be maximalist and just be obsessed with Bitcoin, even though I do believe it's a sound asset. So you need to understand, as that water flows in that cup and it overfills and they no longer want to go into Bitcoin, that's going to overflow into these top altcoins. And when they overflow from capital, they'll rotate into micro caps. And that's how this market will work. And that being one very specific point I want to bring up. And that is the world of microcaps and a huge announcement. So as many of you guys probably know, you've heard the word NFT. It's all the craze. It's been booming as OpenSea, has literally risen in trading volumes to where it was seeing a mere $7 to $8 to $9 million in transactions just 12 months ago, is now crossing billions of dollars in transactions. And these NFTs are not just simply collectibles, but what they are bringing to the market is actually real utility, digital authenticity of everything from collectibles to play to earn games. Now, I myself am not a gamer, but where my weaknesses are is where my strengths lie in reaching others for educational resources. And one of those right now is going to be the NFT platform Immutable X. Immutable X is an unbelievable platform because it does something. Now, we all know that there's scaling solutions out there to Ethereum. Ethereum has the first mover's advantage. And though I believe Ethereum will probably hit somewhere between $7,000 and $8,000 conservatively in this bull run, Ethereum runs up against some major headwinds. The simple fact that it is not only not scalable, meaning not having the ability to handle the massive amount of transactions that are taking place on it, but its real problem is the fact that the gas fees are just simply too high. Think of it this way, is even though you love to drive on those toll roads, but imagine if that toll road going from the good old 91 freeway and the old infamous as you're driving from Riverside County into LA, one of the worst traffic areas in the country, you can pay for a mere $5 to $8 to cut down on that traffic using the toll road. Well, imagine if that toll road all of a sudden jumped up to $90 to go one way. What would happen is the toll roads would lose the amount of traffic that would be going through it because so many middle-class Americans could no longer afford. And that time that it would add to their trip, they would simply have no other choice but to get into the regular lanes. And that is what is happening in the world of the NFTs today. NFTs, as individuals want to mint their creations and artists and all these things, you simply cannot transact on NFT marketplaces like OpenSea for really anything less than $40 to as much as $150 per transaction. What that means is to buy that NFT. I mean, you think about that, man. I mean, you want to buy an NFT that's $200 and it costs you $100 tax in essence to do that. And so that has been a huge, huge barrier of entry to the millions and millions of individuals that simply want to be able to use NFTs but can't afford to transact in them. I mean, imagine, you think about it. If I wanted to trade 10 NFTs, that would cost me nearly $1,000. That's more than the average person who's in college rent for probably 4 months as they're sharing rooms with one another. They don't have that type of disposable income. So
it's a huge barrier of entry.
Huge barrier of entry. And so one amazing Australian company came out with Immutable X. And this is what I want to walk you guys through, because your mind is going to be blown, because I'm going to give you a secret on a coin that I believe you are going to be able to get into, and it will be a 10xer over the next 12 months. Now, this isn't financial advice, so do your own research on it, but it is one that I believe is going to blow your mind. And the main reason for that is Immutable X just announced that it has been selected as the NFT provider and NFT creator of the world's biggest and most blossoming social media network in the entire world, and that is TikTok. So Gavin, why don't you go ahead and share my screen for me? So what you're going to see here is a brief summary of Immutable X. And I know many times I can talk quickly, so I wanted to walk you through this. So Immutable X is a layer 2 scaling solution of Ethereum. And what you need to understand about Ethereum in general is Matic and is another, or Polygon is another scaling solution. But one of the things is imagine this way. Imagine you have a train track. And on that train track, you have guards on both sides of that train track. And as that train carrying gold is driving through, what's happening is the cargo on the train is safe because it has guards up and along the train tracks. Now you have another train that comes in behind it, and it needs to go faster than the train in front of it. So it decides to take another side track and go along the side track. But on that side track, it only has a guard every 100 meters. Well, the problem is now your material that you are transacting on the railway is now on a less secure route. Why? Because there is less soldiers making sure that cargo is being delivered and not being attacked by hooligans and hackers. Well, that's exactly what happens with so many of these scaling solutions with Ethereum, is that like Matic and Polygon, when you go ahead and you use one of these side chains, the security on them is not the same as the security on Ethereum, which has far more validators that are working and far more miners under that proof of work concept. And even when it becomes proof of stake, because it's that first mover advantage, is a far more secure network. So you lose the security. So you'll see here on Immutable X, it is a scaling solution, but it does a number of things. One, it is instant trade confirmation. So it is significantly faster at over 9,000 trades per second versus just 15 trades per second on Ethereum. Two, massive scalability, as I just announced. And here's the most important thing: zero gas fees. No more paying $100 on OpenSea or $80 on OpenSea. Zero gas fees without compromising the user custody or the network effects of providing that security. So you get all the guards the same way as if you're on Ethereum, but instead of that train coming down with all that gold and having all those security guards on both lines of those tracks and having to pay a lot of money to be able to put your cargo there, imagine if you got that same security, you got to skip in front of the line and you got to do it for free. Well, that's what Immutable X is doing. So Immutable X, as you see, it's going to be paying staking rewards. You're going to use IMX, the token, to pay for transaction fees and voting on the NFT network. It offers free gas fees, instant trades, self-custody of your NFTs, meaning you actually get to keep them in your wallet. It's a true layer 2 solution. Why you get all the benefits of Ethereum, and more importantly, which we all know that Elon Musk, when he crashed Bitcoin, was talking about when he canceled Tesla. And Matt, do you remember, why did he say he was canceling ordering of Tesla?
Because of environmental reasons.
NFTs are carbon neutral. And there's also a hard cap of only 20 million IMX tokens. So, and they're going to be allocated 25% for incentives, including user rewards and developer grants, 51% for early purchasers, excuse me, 25% for incentives, 51% for user rewards and grants. Then early purchasers, they've already done that for 17%. And then issuing entity Digital World got 6.5%. Now the team behind it, it's a Forbes 30 for 30 under founder. He is just beyond unbelievable, doing MIT curriculum. Very, very brilliant guy. So here's what Immutable X looks like. So what Immutable X is basically what OpenSea is on Ethereum. Immutable X is as a scaling solution on Ethereum. So think of an OpenSea, you got to pay all those gas fees. Now, Immutable X, same as OpenSea's, but zero gas fees. So zero gas fees, instant trades, carbon neutral. It is the new kid on the block. It's better, faster. The only difference is not everybody knows about him in school yet. But he's going to come in, he's going to take all the hot chicks from the guy that's been around, and he's going to crush life. And he's a nice guy at heart. So you want to be on the Immutable X thing. Now, who's behind Immutable X? Oh, I don't know. Just a couple of the biggest freaking names in the entire space. You got Galaxy Digital, Coinbase Ventures, Apex Capital, Nirvana Capital, Continued Capital. It's powered by Starkware and Naspers. They raised $60 million within minutes of their first round of funding. So they are huge, and TikTok selected them. So what basically they actually operate is the IMX token. You're probably like, Brian, how do I get this freaking IMX token? I need this IMX token. Well, bad news is the IMX token, the initial being able to buy it on the ICO came on September 8th and has already been fully subscribed to. However, this Immutable X token is going to be used to obviously being paid to transact on the network, play to earn gaming, the whole 9 yards. So as I mentioned here, I wanted to show you guys, once again, it's carbon neutral, which is going to be huge, huge for adoption. That's why companies like Twitter and TikTok and hopefully Facebook and Instagram, when they look to incorporate NFTs into their social media platform, don't forget, they are major publicly traded companies here. They have got to have environmental concerns. The NFT being a carbon neutral, whereas OpenSea and when you're transacting on Ethereum, especially under the proof of work concept right now, is extremely nasty for the environment still, even though it's not nearly as bad as what people think it is. But it still has that connotation and that negativity with stockholders. So, or shareholders, excuse me. So that's why the carbon neutral on Ethereum is so huge. Now, on top of it, here's where it basically works. So when you go on to Immutable X, it's very, very easy. So I'm going to show you guys how to do this. So first, you got to get a MetaMask wallet, okay? MetaMask wallet, you got to download the MetaMask browser. Think about what an Apple iWallet is for your iPhone. MetaMask is in the world of crypto. It's your crypto wallet. It's basically where you get to hold all your collectibles. It's basically where you get to use to swap from one coin to another coin on dexes like SushiSwap and Uniswap and all of that. And what you're going to do on MetaMask is, okay, here's my MetaMask account, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click connect my wallet, okay? So once you open up a MetaMask account, click connect your wallet. I'm going to click connect my wallet here. I'm going to go ahead, click next. I'm going to allow them to connect my wallet. It's going to connect. It's going to go in. It's going to bring it up. I'm going to sign in. Cool. Sign in. All right, we're done. Okay, now my wallet's connected. So what that means is I now have the ability, just like if you're going to connect your PayPal with a merchant wallet, same thing here, connecting your wallet to be able to purchase these. So these are some of the NFTs that are available on Immutable X. Now, myself personally, I am a huge fan of Moody Crows. And I'll tell you why. What CryptoPunks was for Ethereum, Moody Crows is going to be to Immutable X. This is the first community-based NFT project with 10,000 unique individual NFTs. And what NFTs are going to be is now on Twitter, you have the ability, if you own a CryptoPunk or you own Bored Ape, think of it as like street cred, right? These things are hundreds of thousands of dollars. You now have the ability to upload them to Twitter, connect your MetaMask wallet, and it'll verify that feed, that NFT is yours. So no more taking a JPEG, screenshotting somebody else and pretending like your, new avatar is some CryptoPunk you don't own. So it's going to create, it's just like the blue check mark is on Instagram. The blue check mark verifying your FT is it's a dick swinging contest, for lack of a better word. It's going to show, it's basically showing, hey, look, I'm somebody, I have this and that. With that being out there in the world of digital world and metaverse world, this is what's going to be cool. This is going to be the Rolex watch of the future. That's what NFTs are. And Moody Crows is a project that I believe in because it is first mover on Immutable X. So here's one that I've been kind of looking at right here. It's 0.74 ETH, okay? So it's roughly, $2,500, right? So if I click buy now, I can come in here, click buy now. If I want to buy it for 0.74 ETH, I'm going to click right on here, sign in, purchase complete. Sweet. So you guys just watched me buy a $2,500 NFT live. So click finish. That's one I liked, okay? Why do I like this? You have to come on to Crypto Charge. I'll teach you a little bit about NFTs when we bring on some really good people in it. So now, what you can obviously allow to, you're probably saying, well, Brian, I know you've been rambling on now for like 15 minutes. You got to tell us, man, where can I get IMX? So Little Birdie told me that Gate.io is supposedly launching the IMX token on October 19th. This has not been confirmed by Immutable X, but by following crypto Twitter, by going on Discord groups, by going on Reddit, this is what I can find. And most projects launch first on Gate.io. Now, CoinList is where you want to sign up to try to get on an ICO. So with those ICO, meaning an initial coin offering. So I missed this one. I didn't see this one coming on September 8th. I should have, but I've been so busy with us trying to launch Crypto Charge for you guys and putting out content. I wasn't able to do my deep dive on this project like I wanted to, and I missed it out. So I wasn't able to get in the ICO on September 8th. But how you get in on ICOs is signing up on coinlist.co. You have to, KYC, they're going to keep your, know your customer information, sign up on here, and you have the ability by going into token sales, and it'll tell you when new projects are launching, and you can get in to try to buy one of those new projects. So you can see right here, introducing Coinless Karma. You can tell here's a couple of the recent ones that they've done. So Gate.io is where I believe that we are going to be able to see the IMX token come. It's right now, I believe on the ICO, it went for around $15 a coin. We have major backers in it. Let's just be real. When Twitter selects an NFT marketplace as their partner, okay, TikTok itself, excuse me, I meant TikTok, not Twitter. When TikTok selects an NFT marketplace partner, you better pay attention. TikTok is the fastest growing social media platform in history. It has an adoption rate and an engagement rate like nothing else. So that is a boat that you want to get on. Now, obviously do your own research, but I don't think you can go wrong by realistically buying any of these NFTs on the Immutable X marketplace, whether it's a Moody Crow, whether you want to get into Gods Unchained, which is going to be a play to earn game. Do your research on it, but I think it's going to be something hot. Now, speaking of things that are super hot right now, we're just watching Bitcoin cross over $55,000. So let me have you jump into those charts, Matt, and kind of tell everybody why me and you are so amped today.
Absolutely, Brian. Bitcoin has been on an absolute tear. It's great to see Bitcoin performing like this. I'm really glad you covered those projects you did, Brian, because I think that the heart of most of the projects that we're looking at are going to be NFT based and scaling based. It's essentially going to be, the race to who can create the most efficient and cheapest platforms. But let's, Gavin, take a quick look at the charts here and take a look at Bitcoin, the granddaddy of crypto, because it is going to be the leader of the pack, especially in that rotational market that Brian was mentioning at the beginning of the stream. So as we can see here, we are crossing some very big thresholds. So as many of you have seen with Dan's charts and my charts, we use Fibonacci retracement levels. These are some of our golden tools that we use every day in our trading, and you can see how accurate they are in providing some clarity into where price is going. So from a very macro level here, we're on a 20-hour chart, and we can kind of see where we have this Fibonacci tool. And this Fibonacci currently is located right around 59,005, so just under 60K. Now, if we leave it there, just below the actual high, but kind of where the median or the mean here of the high was, we can see that this 702 Fibonacci retracement, which means that we've retraced 70% back from the initial drop, was broken. And in fact, the 786 Fibonacci was also broken with tenacity, and we're closing candles above. That is really, really fantastic. Now, I do want to point something out very quickly here. If I take this Fibonacci and I pull it up just a little bit, and I pull this to the very tippy top here, right around 64.8, we can see that we have only crossed the 702, but we are just 18 minutes away from closing our first candle over the 702 Fibonacci retracement. And to just further clarify why that's so important is when we have a big down move like this, right? We had this first capitulative down move in May, and we sunk all the way down into that 30K region. This was a break in macro trend because obviously the trend was up, up, up for the longest time, right? And we had small corrections and pullbacks, but this broke the macro trend for most people. So in order for most people to say, okay, we have the confidence that we're not going to be continuing in a downward fashion, they want to see us break above this 702 Fibonacci retracement. In fact, most people are going to go ahead and place their orders to short the market at this 702 retracement. So although we still need to, on a more macro level, clear out this $57,000 level, it's absolutely phenomenal after all this time we spent here at lower levels to be closing candles above the 702 Fibonacci retracement, whether we're taking that Fibonacci from the very top or from the median. And then when we take a closer look here and we kind of zoom in a little bit on this chart, we can see that we had some hints that we were going to get another leg here. So we can see that this is a W pattern, and W patterns are bullish patterns and let us know that we're most likely done with our correction. We took out that B wave just a couple days ago, and now we are getting our second extension. So although I would like to see a little bit of a pullback here and some consolidation prior to moving higher, we could pull all the way out to this 57K level prior to seeing a correction further to the downside. So definitely don't FOMO into these candles. Every time we talk about, especially on social media, I appreciate everybody on social media who participates in our polls and takes your best guess at where price is going next and follows along with some of the updates we have there. You know, we definitely want to see a pullback before we add on to our position. So do not be buying these candles. This is not the opportunity. In fact, this would be the opposite. So we did give out some calls around 40K and 44K. You're up $10,000 if you're in from 44K, and you're up about $14,000 if you got in from our 40K call. So we are in a position where, you know, when the markets are bleeding, we're going to try to identify those points for you guys to get in. And when the markets are pumping like this, we're going to identify exits for you to get out in. Don't ever take an exit and try to turn it into an entrance, and vice versa. Don't try to take an entrance and turn it into an exit, because you're going to be doing the opposite of what you want to achieve there. So Bitcoin overall is looking very good. We are kind of on the brink of saying, hey, we're going to put the fears of a bear market in the past. We're very, very close. We've seen 9 out of 10 indicators that we're ready to crank. But once we clear 57K, then we can kind of kiss all those concerns of huge pullbacks goodbye and pretty much guarantee that we're ready to crank up to the levels that Brian was discussing earlier, between 72, 75, and maybe 85K, just depending on how far we reach out. And most of the excitement left in this market is going to be in the altcoin market. One brief thing I wanted to touch on in relations to news is this actually just came out less than an hour ago. So we're just kind of touching on this just to let you guys know what's going on. So if you're not familiar with some of the enforcement departments that are surrounding financial industries, we have a little bit of an older department here called FinCEN, which is the Financial Crimes Enforcement Network. And they've been around since 1990. So they're nothing new, and they're not cryptocurrency specific. So FinCEN was actually providing some counsel on XRP related stuff a few years ago, was detrimental in a couple cases in relating to Kick and Telegram cases, but they weren't taken as seriously by the SEC and by the courts because they weren't a cryptocurrency specific entity that had oversight over these types of things. So just today, the Department of Justice has announced that they are launching their National Cryptocurrency Enforcement Team. And this is essentially going to be an anti-money laundering specific department that's going to oversee to make sure that there isn't a list of activity associated with cryptocurrency transactions. And I think that although we don't ever like to see government overreach inside of our crypto sphere because we enjoy the decentralized aspect so much, it's nice to have this in the sense of we're going to be able to push some of those naysayers away that say, well, this is just for money laundering. Well, you can do illegal activities on here. Well, at least we have some enforcement action here that could be taken if people are participating in that. So just something I want you guys to pay attention to, something we will be covering as we learn more about who's going to be leading this, who's going to be involved, and really what this means for the space as it develops. But again, this was breaking news less than an hour ago, so we just wanted to get it out to you guys first. Brian, did you have anything you wanted to add here?
Yeah, I did. So one of the things that I just wanted to really kind of focus on the wrap up is you have to understand in these markets that you have to stay in the market. What I see, and I get so many people email me or message me, hey, Brian, I saw Bitcoin, I bought it at 41. I think I should just sell it at 44 and then wait for a drop. You have to understand two things. One is the best entire amount of your returns you're ever going to see. I saw a great article about it that if last year alone in 2020, if you were out of the market on just 31 days last year, you would have lost on Bitcoin, even though it had insane gains. And the reason for that basically is Bitcoin experiences massive gains on daily timeframes. You don't see Bitcoin like go up 1% 30 days in a row. You don't see that happening. You see Bitcoin like go up today, like it goes up 10, 11%. It could go up 6% tomorrow, and then it could go down 7%. So you have to understand that the major volatile moves come. So it's very important not to be FOMOing in, because you won't be able to time the market. And so what I do personally is I look at my gains, and you have to understand you got short-term gains and you got long-term gains. Long-term gains are anything that you've owned that particular security or asset for more than 12 months. If you've owned it less than 12 months, that's a short-term gain. They're taxed entirely differently by the IRS, and that's very important to know. So before you go in and you are quick to sell and rebuy, it's very important to understand that you want to be pulling these profits off the table, but also to keep in the back of your mind that every time you are trading these quickly back and forth, in and out, or you're trying to time the market perfectly, you're subjecting yourself to massive capital gains taxes. So what I do personally is on there's days where there is a big green run like this, like me personally, I sold about $10,000 worth of my Bitcoin today, and I rolled it into AVAX. So yeah, but the good news is that Bitcoin I sold, I had owned it since May of 2020. So I was in a long-term capital gains position anyways, and I rolled it into AVAX, a coin that I personally believe has probably a 3x run in it at least, whereas Bitcoin, I think we're, like I said, maybe going to get 50% of an increase from here. Right. And so it is very important to understand the tax obligations that come from getting in and out of the market. And when you do pull some chips off the table, just remember, keep in the back of your mind, you need to save some money for the taxes, because we know one thing that the IRS is going to hammer home. They're going to like cryptocurrency. They're not going to ban it. They've already deemed the BCC or Bitcoin and Ethereum. They've already pretty much come out and said that these are currencies. They're going to love it when they start seeing the tax revenues come in from it. Now remember, not claiming revenue is the worst thing you can do for an IRS audit. You're far better off making sure to have some write-offs, putting yourself into a position of being a professional trader, saying you're working over a certain number of hours a year to consider yourself a professional, and do something in that regards, but never avoid paying the tax man his money, and set aside, if you're going to do short-term capital gains, set aside some of that money, because I'll tell you right now, the one thing that happens to everybody is death, and the second thing is freaking taxes. So we're going to here to help you guys kind of mitigate that and educate you on that. But let me just tell everybody, this fourth quarter will give you the ability, if you do your research, you follow us on here, and you pull your emotions out of trading, it has the potential of giving you better returns than any other period in time in history right now. We are at a level where individuals are going to be making millions and millions and millions of dollars if this bull run continues in quarter four. So don't make stupid mistakes by going in and FOMOing into Shiba Inu because it's up 70% and then it's going to have 100% pullback, in the next 3 months, and you wiped out all the potential you have to put in solid projects like Polkadot and AVAX. So when you're investing and you want to supercharge those gains, buy stuff that use utility, come to this stream, and make sure you guys join CryptoCharge.com when we launch it in about a week and a half. So until next time, take care. And remember, we're here to supercharge those crypto gains and help you retire early.